Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded game. We're playing against Drum on Highview. This is a warm-up match, and didn't record live. I just didn't feel like talking with my warm-up match, and it's actually a little bit of an interesting game. And I was curious to see what our opponent does in terms of his build. That's why I went ahead and decided to cast this game. Byzantines has been always a pretty tough matchup for our specific playstyle because of jab throwers, longbows, and Limit not taking a lot of range damage. So I was really curious what his build order is. And this is a build that I've heard about with Byzantines. Everyone was doing 1 to 2 villagers on stone early to ramp up their sister levels, but it's a fairly delayed age up. I don't know if everyone's doing it like this with 2 villagers. I think most people are doing it with just 1 villager. 2 villagers on stone seems too much, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's good value that you're getting out of it, but you have a small villager count to begin with to really make it worth. I ran a bunch of numbers back when Byzantines came out, so I know like C3 and stuff, people were rushing it even back in the day, and it really was never worth it. Byzantines are better now than they were, so it might be a little bit more worth it, but tough to say. Our opponent here, Drum, is also Conk 3, like top 200-ish player. So I would figure that he's doing this because it's what he's used to do. But this is a very, the weird thing about this build is, did he scout? He must have scouted my base, right? Okay, so he scouted that we were on gold and stuff. That we weren't going for Dark Age aggression or anything like that. So really conservative, really slow tempo build here. And so here's the thing. He's going to get his sister level 2 up, right? So currently he's got 1, right, which is 10%. So if we just pause this real quick. 10% of 1.3, or I'm sorry, 10% of 13 is 1.3. So right now, his system that you basically get for free is giving him 1 villager worth of eco. A little bit more, right? And the secondary level is going to give him an additional 4%, which isn't a lot, right? 4% of 13 villagers is not very much. 13 villagers, yeah, it's like a half. It's basically half a villager at this stage of the game. So 125 resources for half a villager is not really ideal, right? This is kind of like those breakpoints where, like with HRE and prelates, yeah, you don't want to be making a prelate until you're making more than 2 villagers worth of income. So if you're, buffing, I think it's like 5 or more villagers with your prelate. So this is one of those situations where, okay, with 14 villagers now, right? He's gonna get 14 villagers. Maybe he'll be up to 15 by the time. Yeah, let's just say 15 villagers just to make the math easy. So if you're at, oh, yeah, this is 15 villagers. Yeah, 16 pop overall. 15 villagers is typically 1.5 villagers, right? But at 14%, shoot, it'd be like, let's do a little bit of math. It's 2.1 villagers. So you're getting 0.6 villagers additional with this next level. And you spent 125 resources, I believe, is what it is now. So 120 resources. So yeah, I don't know if that's worth it. Like for me, for it to be worth it, you'd be wanting to do this 120 resources when it's paying dividends almost immediately, right? So for me personally, 14%, and we want it to equal 2. you'd almost have to be on like 20 villagers, right? Maybe that's too many, so maybe like 18. At that 2.5. It's actually a lot closer than I thought it was. Okay, so 16. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. It's actually 4%. It's not 14%. I'm doing it by 14%. I'm getting big numbers, but it actually needs to only be 4%. Because you're only jumping up by 4%, and you're spending 120 because the base 10% is your big jump, and that's already like a built-in cost. So really, you're spending 124 a 4% buff, which isn't bad at all, and I think it scales good. But I wonder if you want to be cranking it out earlier, like this early with 2 villagers, is my thing, right? 4% at 15 villagers is 0.6 vils. So it's really inefficient. On top of it, that you're mining with 2 villagers. With all the other villagers, you're only making up half a villager at the 15 villager or 3-minute mark. So that's actually quite bad. So yeah, you would, and in that case, yeah, you would need like even more than 20 villagers. You would need 24 to 25. Yeah, 25 villagers basically to equal 1 villager of income. Yeah, so that's pretty bad. Like, I mean, it's been a while since I've visited Byzantine numbers here, so sorry for this kind of a math break in the replay, but yeah, it's basically if you're sitting on 50 villagers and you're getting an additional 4% boost, now you're getting 2 villagers a boost. So for it to like even come to remotely paying for itself off like immediately, you got to be hitting the 50 villager threshold. So I think a slow trickle is always worth it, especially for cisterns. That slow kind of a trickle I think is a good thing, but I do think 2 on stone is probably too many. So he's hitching up with Grand Winery. We scouted around the side and the back. He scouted up and then around, and now he's doubling back here. Pretty good in terms of vision. He hasn't scouted around out here, and he hasn't scouted this back corner over here and over here. And these are areas I haven't scouted. I've scouted this already. Everywhere he hasn't scouted, pretty much this is the only part in his route where there might still be sheep he's going to get. Yeah, and there's 2 sheep, so he's got a little bit of a better sheep haul than us. We're at 8, and he's at 8. And here's another thing about this 2 on stone. This is quite a delayed A jump. So now he's going to be getting up to C3 cistern, which is an additional 4%. That's 4% on 4%, and now I mean now cumulatively, like you're looking at a pretty strong buff, right? You're talking like 20 villagers at 18%. You're talking like 4 villagers, almost 3.5 villagers of income additional. So that's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good. But you've also spent 360 resources, which is half a TC. Now, maybe you could say it's not, your first one's free, so it's not truly that cost, but I don't know. And he can drop to a C4 right now, too. And just mathematically, it just doesn't, it seems too greedy on the cisterns. So, I mean, I was curious. It felt like a really low pressure game for me playing it, because he took so long to get his stuff out, and he made blind racks here, which was quite a big mistake. He's definitely expecting something else, like a Kashik opener. And we tank some hits here with our con. I just wanted to stay close in range to try to snipe a villager. The Matanis are pumping out quite fast, 11 seconds, so he's able to kind of hold. He's trying to rush down a tower real quick. We are rallying a villager across now to try to tower his wood line. We're not entirely sure where it is, so we're trying to do that at the same time we're trying to micro this. We have to be very careful. We're diving in and out of TC range. We're taking quite a bit of damage, so we want to make sure to hear the bell, kind of unring, and then kind of dive back in. And we have to be careful when we aggro onto something, like right clicking on the villager itself, because if it moves out of range we'll follow in, and we don't want to do that. So we're able to kind of kill a couple villagers here, which is big, which curiously enough, C4 or cistern level 4 is 22%, so we're talking like 22% out of 23 villagers is a pretty good number. But so it's five villagers almost on the dot, but he's lost 2, so now he's kind of reduced that. So yeah, you know, that's the issue. If you go for these kind of heavy cistern play and then you end up losing some stuff, just does not feel good. And now you're over collecting on stone too. See, 6-7 minutes and he's got all the stone that he needs, you know, besides the rebates and stuff that he's gotten for other buildings. So again, it's one of those things where I feel like it wasn't great. A little bit of missed micro here as well by us. We could have killed this before it got up, and him getting this outpost in is definitely a bit of a hassle for us. It changes what we can do here in terms of how we can shut this down. So a little bit disappointing here. Finally getting back to our villager here. He's been sitting around not doing much. Not great outposts, and blacksmith is up, but we haven't gotten blacksmith techs yet. So we're starting to float a lot of gold. A little bit of just indecision on our part in terms of what we wanted to do, how we wanted to deal with this. He pulls villagers off a stone. He's on 237 stones. It's just like, it's just such a weird number, you know, because he can drop cistern level 5, kinda. I don't know, he'd probably be up here. But the weird thing is he doesn't really have any army. I'm not really sure what he's like pivoting to do here, besides just getting back onto berries and cranking out some mercenaries. So behind this, we're starting to get ourselves kind of more organized here, dropping a market. We've killed 4 villagers now, so pretty good amount, and this tower going up is going to help a bit. And yeah, that's I was just really curious about his build. Yeah, I just don't think 1 on stone is too much of an investment for the, you know, the earnings you kind of slowly accumulate. I think 1 on stone is fine, but I think 2 on stone is definitely too much. He's, you know, a little bit over gathered, and he's sitting on 263 stone, which he's not going to be able to really use or translate into anything. So I think we're outside of his vision with this tower. Yeah, we are, and we're really conscious about this tower placement. I felt like I was out of vision, and we're also being really careful in terms of like the fight we take with our opponent here, right? We can't overcommit and get hit by this TC or this tower. So you can see the overlapping here, and now we can see he's got jab throwers, which is not the best fight for us, but we drop in our attack speed arrow so we can snipe one of these, because right now 1 magnet for 1 jab thrower is okay. So we can definitely pick a fight kind of carefully, but we also knew that our tower here is in play too, so we kind of have to take this fight more than I would like to. Normally I would just like to just run away from this fight sooner, but we stay and we're trying to keep the fight over here as much as possible, just because we have to try to save our our villager in our tower, right? So he pulls up his jab throwers. So we're gonna try to focus on these, and we just have to be careful about the range here. And we get a little bit sloppy. Lose our villager, cancel our tower, and you can see he's sitting in a decent spot, and he's kind of getting his rebates on stone and stuff. So secondary market we're setting up just to keep up. We know he's level 4 cistern, so right now, even though we've killed some villagers, we've lost one. We're not exactly trade booming yet, and we are you know, he's getting 22%, so right now he's like on an additional 6 villagers, right? So we're pretty conscious of this fact that our value that we're going to get us back in this game is to keep these wood lines moving around, or you know, until he makes some more units. So he's waiting for his jab throwers to pop here, and we could have gone. You can see he can almost go to castle. He's floating a ton of food, and that's what he's going to try to do. And we could get a little bit of damage here. No kill, unfortunately. Tower is in a decent spot. I would have liked it maybe a little bit closer, but just kind of is what it is. You can't see us. And we're gonna rotate down. We're checking to see his gold. Basically, it feels like this could be a castle transition. It could be, you know, something like that. And he does a pretty bad job of reacting, and he's gonna lose quite a few villagers here. So he loses like 3-4 villagers, which is pretty nice. Kind of thought it was gonna be a couple more, to be honest, but we'll take it. And we're rallying new troops here. Trade is set up for cross map, 92 gold per trade, so we're really happy with 2 market boom behind this. And again, we know we've killed a few villagers, and we know we're market trading, but at this point in time, we know 100%. Like I'm still pretty sure that his eco is going to be in a really good spot comparatively, like at these numbers. So we're going to try to still get value out of our mega die and rally army here. Since he is going heavy on the jab throwers, we've gone up to double stable. Probably could have gone to triple stable. We're also really heavy on wood here. Being on double market, I'd rather be on a little bit heavy on wood here. We take this fight here. Not a great fight, but this is kind of a bait fight. I want to trade out my army here, and I want to clean out these jab throwers. So jab throwers being his oil unit, it's really important to try to bait and make him commit to fights. Like, yeah, it sucks I lost probably worse in terms of destroyed value. You can see, yeah, his destroyed value is a little bit better than us. But when we kill his army here, you can see destroyed value is almost the same. So we're we, you know, respect the value of the jab throwers, and if you can bait them out and cut that mass down, the earlier you do it, the more you can do it, the better. It gets to a point in late games where the only thing you're gonna do to deal with that is like a mangonel or spring oats. Now we know our opponent was gathering a ton of gold. We assumed he was getting upgrades, but it looks like he's forgotten upgrades. Again, kind of surprising considering he's like a Conk 3 player here. But he's just setting up his farms. So very passive, very kind of slow play. Like your macro gets big enough and you take a couple good fights and you can just kind of steamroll your opponent. And though this army doesn't look like much, 4 horsemen, 4 jabs, and 6 Limitnai, that army trades out with this army 100%, if not wins and wipes this army that I have. So we're very conscious of the fact that even though my army value is a lot more, and I've got a bunch of army over here, the majority of my army value is over here. This is not a fight that we can actually take and win. So we're just going to keep trying to find holes in his base, try to prevent him from fully walling up. We're giving him the space to fully wall up. And the trade boom behind this is really going to help solidify position. And though we don't get, per se, any Vil kills here, we do get some idle time, which is decent as well. At this point now, we're also, we've killed a few villagers. I didn't realize I had killed 10. I knew we'd killed like at least like 6 or 7. But now it's now a transition to castle for us. Even though we're not in a great spot in terms of our resource bank, we're in a really good spot in terms of, like, we're on the map collecting our hunt and stuff. We have pasture set up and our trade is booming online, right? We're on 8. We see the second TC getting dropped here. Again, we're trading out army here for space. And this is not good value that we're getting here, because only basically our Mangadai is shooting here. But we have another army here at the front. Again, and we're denying wood, which is forcing him to, pivot those villages. And we didn't notice these villages went to the south. If we had noticed that, that would have been a big deal, especially right now. So this is a little bit unfortunate. We see the gold vills, and we commit to the gold vills, and we didn't notice this little wood camp on the side of our screen. That would have been a really big deal, because we 100% get a couple more Vil kills here. Or at least applying that pressure would have been a good thing. Now, I didn't realize that he was floating 1200 gold at this point, and has none of his upgrades. So this game could have been a lot closer than it is, if he had committed to that. Getting eco techs and whatnot, even military techs. The melee techs aren't the best thing in the world, but they definitely help, especially if your opponent has gone for them and you haven't gone for them. We go on the backside here, try to find some damage, just find the midnight and this kind of a tough little corner to get into. We'll try to micro this here and there, and basically we're just looking for dives, looking for trades on javs, on villagers, and getting a decent amount of idle time here. And probably, again, the value that we got out of this, and to compare to the damage we got, not a lot. But we are looking to just slow down his food tempo and his attention while we go to castle here. We felt we had a nice enough mass, a healthy enough mass here to still fight his armies. And go to castle behind this. Now we're up to 19 traders. Again, feels nice to have that full map. 101 gold trade. Yeah, that's really good. Now, this posturing from him is kind of scary. We have to be careful. We're tapping up with Kurultai now, so we're falling back a little bit, and this could be a point where he could see that and be like, hey, maybe he's castling. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to wrap around this west side, stay inside of his vision here. If you look at his vision, we're basically intentionally putting our army in a position where he needs to react to the army, and he can't just dive our base. And like, if he dives our base, we would have to commit to that, right? We would have to go chase him because we're aging up, we got nothing at home, and it's favorable for us to do that because we have our trade online there. So this play is, yeah, now we hit castle, your army's in your base and we're in your base too. So this is all really favorable for us. He's noticed that he doesn't have his eco techs or his mill techs in, so we're just trying to burn through here, get some damage in. We mess up a little bit in the sense that we don't get our Uwu upgrades, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Uwu, this is This has been a mistake that I do way too much, especially being a Mongol main. Like, not changing my Ubu for a fresh Ubu and not getting these techs. These techs are so cheap now. You should be always getting additional torches once you hit castle. We are building a prayer tent, which is good, but we definitely want to get our additional torches tech here. If we have that tech, we burn through this. So he's starting to build up this mass of jabs, and you can see how that mass is really tough for us to engage with. Even if we have better techs and stuff like that, it's a really strong unit against Mangata. It really does have good stats and bonuses. So we're gonna start rallying troops again, and we're rallying to our TC. We are going heavy on the wood here, and the reason I decided to go heavy on wood is because we know our opponent is going to have a lot of limbs. He's going to have a lot of jabs. Best thing we can do here is probably rotate into siege sooner rather than later. We do notice walls on the south side of his base. He's fully walled. We assume he's, fully walled here. We do notice another tower. We're just poke and prod. At least define the boundaries of his walling. Now at this point, we are finally getting our horticulture tech now that we have a few pastures set up and our monastic shrines is coming in. And we're just picking, poking here. This army, we see the castle coming up. Fight this army right now. Yeah, we can fight this army. We could potentially just trade out. But we don't particularly want to fight this army. We're officially at a much stronger eco than him. Yeah, and he's still on. And here's the weird thing about that build. You have a lot of villagers on stone early, and he's still not technically on C4 at the 22-minute mark. So it's just like he sacrificed a lot of early tempo for something that didn't really come to fruition until maybe it'll come to fruition now that he's almost at the 23-24-minute mark. Everything's veteran except for his horseman. He's getting his horseman tech now. I'm also getting my horseman tech. He's getting it a lot faster. So his army shows up on my mini map. Army value, you can see we have a much higher army value, and we knew he's going to kind of probably push soon. Double siege workshops, Springald's on the way, and basically all we're going to do is bring our army here. We needed to reroute these traders. That's a little bit of a mistake on our part. I think I reroute these guys. I hope I reroute these guys. Yeah, I do. So I end up rerouting them, and we just go for this short trade over here at the bottom left. It's not great value, but it's better than losing them. I can always just rotate back. And defense arrow here is definitely the best play. And you can see, even though we have Springles here to help, our front line stays really healthy because of the curl tie. And the jab throwers are good, but with the timing and everything, it just puts them in a really weird spot to make that push. So yeah, I was really curious to see how this matchup was going to go. I think I got maybe lucky that our opponent went with a 2 villager cistern opener. Maybe he's used to a little bit slower tempo civs in this season, and people doing that. But yeah, I think against Byzantines, if they go with a slower cistern build like that, you're going to be in a really great spot to trade and just aggro. I'm more curious about when they do more of an all-in feudal, and on how that's going to play out, because he hits those tempos a little bit different. I don't get those kills on those berry villagers, and I'd be struggling a lot more even just to get raids on his wood lines. If he had packs of horsemen and jab throwers. So a little bit of a different game. I'm curious to see how the meta kind of develops here with Byzantines. I bet you in certain matchups they're gonna have kind of set builds, just because they have a lot of flexibility, but it can be definitely too slow at pace if you don't pick the right one. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I'm up to Conk 3 now. So I'm gonna start. There is a tournament coming up, starting up here in 2 days for USA players. It goes on for the next couple of weeks. So I am gonna start playing a couple other civs and start practicing, just so I'm not just a complete potato when it comes to tournament time. So yeah, expect. We'll see if I upload those games or if I'll stick to mostly just the Mongol stuff. But I'll probably mix and match like I have in previous videos. So thanks again for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one.